record on it too.
Yeah. Cool. We are on. Yes.
Okay.
Hi,
everybody.
evening, everyone. Namaste.
Namaste. Hi, everybody. Hi, Liza.
Hi, Sundar. I'm so excited
and,
today. I don't know why.
Yeah. And we're back. So
Yes.
last week, we were talking about true wealth and
Right.
how there's a lot more than just material prosperity, right? So
Right.
it was a really interesting topic, and this week we're going to continue that. So about the development of the body, of your life, of your spirituality, your health, and things like this.
Yes. I think last week we spoke about the 5 virtues, right? One is loving kindness, second, generosity, honesty, constant aim and effort, and moderation. So of these 5 virtues, right? So when we talk about virtues, of course, we will try to practice the virtue as much as we can in our life. Yeah. But I was thinking like, yeah, but it's not actually easy to practice all the virtues. Yeah. So which are the maybe the 1 or 2 virtues that you feel that is very challenging for yourself, Sundar?
Oh wow. Okay. So I have to I have to say, like, as I develop, right? There's a deeper understanding of what the virtues mean. I think this is the same for everyone, right? As you go through life, as you start to experience more things in life, as you start to feel stuff, as you start to realize that, different aspects have different meanings in your life, then you start to also think like, there is one, let's say, for example, if we're talking about, like for me, one aspect was constancy of aim and effort and non-laziness, right? So I used to think that, actually, this was quite recent in the recent years. I used to think, I'm not hardworking enough. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. And then when actually I look back at my life, I've actually done quite a lot of stuff, just that but I don't feel like I'm hardworking in the way I expected it to be. So one of the virtues, especially this one, right? Constancy of aim and effort. And there's really 2 parts to this. It's not just about working hard, which wasn't my problem. Everyone says you have to work hard. I was like, yeah, if I look back at my life, I am doing this. I'm working really hard. But there's 2 parts. It's not just effort. It's also consistent in your aim, right? And that was my problem. I was working very hard, but in every direction. So I never got anywhere. And you know that saying, they say, like, jack of all trades, master of none?
Right.
That was my problem. Very knowledgeable about everything, but master of nothing. So, it was very easy for me to connect with people, to talk to people, and, to have an experience in engineering, in medicine, in accounting, experience in everything, sure, sure. But am I good at it? That's a whole different question, right? And then I was like, so recently I started thinking, like, that was my problem. I need to be also consistent in my aim. And the challenging part here was that, for intelligent people, this is not from me, it's from the teacher, Master Cha. He said, the problem for intelligent people is that you're interested in too many things. So when it comes to constancy of aim, you're not able to focus on just one aspect of your life, or at least the maximum is like 3 or 4. That's it, right? You just pick 3 or 4 things in your life, and then you just do that for the next 5 to 10 years, and you will be successful, right? And for a lot of intelligent people, the reason they're not successful is for this very reason. After like 1 or 2 years, they get bored and then they move on. 1 or 2 years, they get bored, they move on. That was my problem. 1, 2 years, I'm bored, new job. 1, 2 years, I'm bored, new girlfriend.
We are on live, Sundar.
So that was the problem, right? That was the problem. So then I started thinking, with everything, every aspect of life, you want to be successful, you have to stick at it and work on it. There's always going to be problems, right? That doesn't mean you give up and move on to the next one. You learn how to work on this problem. Because when the problems come, that's where you really start learning. A lot
Correct.
of people that get it easy really early on, not say easy, like they achieve success, right? They achieve success really early on. They haven't learned anything yet. You only start learning when you start making mistakes, when you start failing. If you hear all the amazing people, all the really great people, they always say, I learn more from my failures than my successes, right? It's because
That
only
is
when you
so
start
true.
failing, when you start hitting that roadblock, that's so, that constancy of aim and effort. Yeah, that's like when you hit the roadblock, now you start growing, now you start learning, right? Now is the time. So I was like,
Yes.
every time I hit a roadblock, I run away to something else. I hit a roadblock, I was like, you gotta
That
stick with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is very true actually. Many of us when we hit a roadblock or we when we hit a challenge, we look at it, oh, this is something that is so difficult. Yeah. Maybe I should just try something that is easier. But you are just near to where you are going to complete, It's just like cycling. I remember when a friend shared, there was this cyclist who was cycling all the way up, on a hill. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was cycling and cycling and cycling, and then he was asking, "Are we there yet?" Then she said, "Yeah, there's another few more kilometers. We are there." Then he cycle, cycle, cycle. Then, "Are we there yet?" "Yeah, yeah, another few more kilometers. We are there." Then he cycle, cycle. "Are we there yet?" Then he said, "Yes, yes, we are there. We are there. Another few more, about 2 to 3 kilometers. We are there." He went, "I'm giving up." Okay. So the minute he U-turned and they went on, it was just 2 kilometers up the hill.
Another
And
2
they're already
kilometers.
there. And he went down. Yeah, he just made a U-turn and went down. He didn't reach the top. So exactly it's the same thing. Yeah. In many things that we do, we tend to look at the challenges right now.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so difficult. But just have to remember that what is difficult, what is challenging, if you overcome, if you break through that would be your experience. That would be your wisdom that you carry with you. So it is always difficult to maintain that constant aim and effort, because this thing tend to challenge tend to knock you down all the time. But you just have to remember, keep on telling ourselves that, we are going to be there. We are going to be there. The small little step that you take, it always gets near.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if you are beating yourself up and saying, no, and all that, then you're actually retreating instead of moving forward. Yeah. So I think,
and this reminds me of people at the top of their game, right? Which is in sports, it's easy to see, like in the Olympics. They just do one sport for the, we're talking, let's say we take, for example, swimming or track and field running, right? Last time there was this I think the 2 or 3 Olympics ago, there was this guy, Michael Phelps, who won so many gold medals just in the swimming arena, right? For different events. But when he started, if you notice, he only focused on one event. He always aced that same one event. I mean, it's all swimming, right? It's all 100-meter swim, or, where it's maybe 200-meter swim or 400-meter swim. It's all, it's all swimming, right? But there's actually very different plan or strategy, because in a 100-meter swim, you can just burst all your energy and go for it, right? But you can't do that for a 400, because you get tired really fast.
Right.
So and Michael Phelps, he just focused on that one. He just focused on it and he won it. And then once he won it and he was the best, then he started looking at other things. And you see the same story for many other entrepreneurs, business owners. Nobody starts off having 5 businesses at the same time, right? People always start off they have one. They take 5-10 years to build up that one. And then after they build up that one, they branch into the second, they branch into the third. And then by the time you get to know them, you go oh, okay, actually, wow, this guy is really successful. He owns 4 or 5 companies, But he didn't start with 5 companies. Nobody does that. If you do that, you'll
get burnt out also.
Yeah, you can't. It's not possible, right?
Yeah.
You need to set up one, get it self-sustaining, and then move to the next one. So it's the same. Like if we're not talking about business, we're talking about person individually.
Right.
It's also the same. Let's say you have hobbies. Let's say you have work. You notice, okay, let's take the work aspect, right? You notice that when a person leaves college and then they go, when they're a freshman at their job, they know nothing, okay, and then it takes them a few years, maybe 5, 6, 7 years. Then they start getting good. They know their job at like the back of their hand. They don't even have to think about it. They just go, they work, they come home. At this point, you don't need a lot of brain power to do your job anymore. You can autopilot the job. So you free up your life to, handle more domestic stuff, maybe spend more time with family, spend more time, camping or doing some hobbies. And again, when you start the new hobby, you start knowing nothing, like your cycling thing, right, Lisa? You know nothing. So you have to invest another 5 years, 7, and then eventually, when you go for cross-country road trips, it's just automatic. You don't even have to think about the items you need. You don't have to think about the planning. You already know I have to eat the day before. I have to sleep well. I have to drink a lot of water. Like you already know, and the body's also prepared, right? So now you have a good job, and you're also a pro cycler or amateur cycler. And then
not
you
the
say,
pro yet.
Yeah, and then you say, oh, okay, these two are easy in my life. Let me take on one more and one more. And this is how you get really successful at everything, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, doing things actually, when you look at things and you want to do everything at the same time, yeah, and your energy is like concentrated everywhere. It's like, you are doing bits here, you bits there, and bits there, and bits there. So like you said just now, jack of all trades, master of none. Yeah. Most of us, I think, even during my younger times also, there is so many things that I look at and I would like to do. It's like, oh, this is glamour. You go into doing this. Then this is interesting. Maybe I can challenge myself, doing this. And then when at the end of it, if we look back, we're actually not doing anything else at all. Nothing, it's because it's all bits here and there. So I do agree with you that constancy of aim and effort has to be put in the right effort, in the right energy where you want to put into your business or into things that you want to do, things that you want to concentrate in. It can be a hobby, it can be anything, business, it can be family, it can be, anything that you like the energy to be in. Yeah. And the other challenge for myself, the constancy of aim and effort, that I know when I get into something, I will be onto it all the time, and the things will start get rolling very fast, and I will be my energy will be like 101% into what I'm doing, and then I will forget the rest of the things. That's where the challenge in moderation comes in.
Moderation.
Yes.
So for you, it's moderation.
Yeah, for me it's moderation, because constantly aim and effort, I think I have that when I have my mind to it that I want to do something, I really put all my attention into it, and I can just do and non-stop. I can forget my lunch, I can forget my dinner, and I can just take a quick bite, but that is where the moderation comes in. Yeah, the moderation of, how do I balance myself? How do I not get too overwhelmed with what I'm doing? With not too much immersed in it, and and forget about the rest of the things. That is what you call a workaholic. I think someone used to call me a workaholic, because once I get into it, I really work and work and work.
Yeah, a good attitude for success, but not so good for for the rest of your life, for balancing your life.
Yes, you won't have you won't have time for your hobby. You won't have time to do spend time with your loved ones. You won't have time to do
Exactly.
anything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
So over time, I think I learned that.
Yeah.
And I try to balance that. Yeah. It's now we have the lockdown, so we can't do other activities, right? But I do how you say, balance it with my hiking or with my camping or with cycling. Yeah. So everything that we do, we have to look at it. Okay, we are doing this. Yes, all is good if it is with a balance.
Yeah.
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 So
And
as long, yeah.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So for
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, for those of you like listening live as well, and those joining us on Zoom, yeah, well, also share with us what was challenging for you, what was difficult for you, or if you resonate with any of this, we want to know, so that
Oh yeah.
so that we don't feel like it's just us that's problematic.
I used to think, I think a lot. I actually do think a lot. Sometimes when I do things right, I will go, am I doing this right? Or am I practicing this right? Or am I, is my emotion is right? How do I know that my emotion is right? How do I know that, I doing this is right? So there's a lot of questions that goes in, and it keep on churning in my mind, on how do I actually know that I'm doing it right? So at the end of the day, I guess for me is, as long as I keep the value of not hurting anyone. Yeah. As long as my actions and my words are not hurting anyone. All right. And what I am doing does not hurt anyone. All right. So if what I'm doing become an obsession for me, then I have to look back and look at it and see whether is it getting in the way of my relationship? Is it getting in the way of me, my relationship with anyone, with my family or with my kids or with my friends or with anyone? All right. And the second thing is, if we look at our life and we are doing everything in moderation, and you can see that everything is going very well.
Yeah.
Means arguments are not there. We don't have anything that triggers argument in our relationship, in our marriage, or in our relationship with a girlfriend or boyfriend, right? Second is, when we do think we get the joy out of it, it's not like a chore.
Yeah.
Right. So these are the few things that I look at from an angle, to evaluate whether I'm doing the right thing, whether I'm in balance. I'm practicing balance in my life. Yeah. This is
actually,
how do you do it?
Yeah, moderation is, you're right, actually. You're asking all the right questions. Moderation is one of the hardest ones to practice, because it's actually, you need to master you need to be good at the other four, and then you realize that you're lacking in moderation, right? So it's about balance. So the other four is being loving, being generous, being honest, and also being hardworking, right? Constancy. Right. So balancing all these four is where the moderation comes in, and then that can be quite challenging. So so to do this, really, it is a balancing act, and I feel different parts of your life require different. Sometimes it's not always possible to practice moderation. So like we were saying, for example, when you're young, you're just out of uni. Come on, you can't be moderate in your life. You've got to go to work. You've got to be successful. Now's the time to do it.
Right.
Because you need to build up that momentum on your career, so that it it carries you on in the later part of your life.
Correct.
And even if you started later, it doesn't matter. But you can't be saying like, I want to give some time here, some time there, and then how come I'm not successful? Right? Or you have to do you really have to sometimes, the moderation virtue. That's why Master like put it at the end, right? That's why it comes it's the last one, because you've got to work on the other four first.
Right.
And then And then moderation, like you said, can be hard to practice. You might be having trouble with your family or this or that. So
Yeah. Well, I think practicing loving kindness, it is not that difficult for me. For me, yeah. I guess that might not be difficult for many as well, but also practicing the loving kindness does have a balancing to it also. If you think if the loving is given too much and you neglect yourself, that is also excessive.
it will be chaos.
Yeah, it will be chaos. Your life
too much
will go
love will
upside
be
down.
chaos. Yeah.
Right. So
Because even if someone were to commit a crime, you'd be like, oh, but let's bless him to be a better person. Like it will be chaos. You cannot be too loving.
exactly. So you'll be like, how do I have this balance? How do I balance it? Even if I practice loving kindness, how do I balance loving kindness? If I were to practice generosity, how do I have the balance? There is also over generosity,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there is there is if we're talking about generosity. So for me, okay, we talk about generosity first. Okay. So we're talking about generosity. There also has to be moderation in generosity, right? You cannot be like giving away all of your savings, being very generous and give away all of your savings to help the
Sundar,
needy.
you're very generous, right, Sundar?
Oh, sorry, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm just joking with you. I said you're very generous, right? I'll give you my account number.
I try my best.
You got a very big heart, Sundar.
So there's got to be a limit. Otherwise, people will give you their account numbers and then they... There's got to be a limit to generosity.
Right.
Yeah. And, it's the same with being honest as well, right? You've also got to practice a certain amount of moderation because some people, some people don't understand why can't you be honest all the time? Yes, you should be honest, right? But some people use honesty as as a way to hurt other people, and then now it becomes a problem. I mean, you're right, you're being honest, but you see people going sometimes like, hey, you want to know the truth, right? I'll tell you the truth. And then you see the person has been like shredded to ribbons after that. Like, what is the point? The person is no longer functional. So you also have to be a bit moderate in what you say, in honesty. Right. Sometimes you can just choose not to answer. I think that's the hardest part for a lot of people, is choose not to answer, because you're actually just being loving to protect their feelings,
Right.
So for me, this was the problem, so the one virtue I had problem with was the constancy of aim, like to just focus myself on one thing. Now I can. Now it's pranic healing. But also with the virtue of honesty. I think when I was a kid, I didn't get a lot of attention. I remember this very clearly in school, I wasn't the popular kid. I didn't know what I was doing. So I didn't get a lot of attention. So I used to make up stories, and temporarily it would acquire some fame, right? People would be really excited and interested. And then the fame would dissipate, nobody would be excited anymore when they know it's a lie, right? So then I had to tell bigger stories and bigger stories. Eventually it became so ridiculous that, people just don't believe me anymore. This was a little bit of what I went through. So because of that experience, I realized that nobody really wants to be around me anymore. So I said, it's because I knew I was telling lies, So I started becoming very honest. I started, I started like mentally criticizing myself and saying like, but is this true? Is this true? I started practicing honesty to such a, high degree, but on myself, to the point that sometimes it wasn't healthy. Where was the love aspect to this, right? So sometimes the virtues are entangled as well. They're intertwined. And I was like, so where's the virtue of loving kindness, self-love, towards myself? Because if I were to do something wrong, I would really be super hard on myself. And But if someone else would do something wrong, I'm like, well, I get it. I used to be there too. I used to lie a lot, so I understand. It's not cool, but I know what you're doing, sort of thing, right? So there was
Right.
compassion for other people, but no compassion for myself, you know. So we had to also think about this a little bit, and this was my problem even now, actually. Sometimes I realize that, I've been doing something wrong this whole time. And some things are just out of culture, out of habit. I remember, I remember the first time I started to realize my first cultural, habit was we pirate movies. And yeah,
Not see me. Not see
yeah,
me. We do that
yeah,
too.
yeah. So that's very common in Malaysia, right? Pirated movies
Right.
or streaming off, back water websites. This underground websites. They have this free, so-called free movies, all the latest movies.
Yes.
They're yeah, for free. Like all these things. I'm like, how many people worked so hard to create this piece of material that you consume in like 1 hour, but for them it took them about 2 years of their lives, maybe 100 people for 2 years just to produce this 1 hour of material, and then you just watch it and go, oh, very good, oh, thank you. And then you don't compensate them for all the hard work that they put in. And I was like, oh my God, I've been doing this. I've not been honest. I've been stealing and things like that. So it started to
Actually,
become
we
very
don't
hard.
realize it, isn't it?
Yeah,
That we are doing this and we don't realize it. Actually, we are stealing,
yeah, yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, this is I think because culturally everybody is watching,
Mm.
everybody is buying these pirated CDs and all that. We'll just do it without thinking.
Yeah, and they share it too. They say, "Oh, you haven't watched it? I know where you can watch it for free."
Sounds so familiar.
Right? We even encourage each other to steal.
Oh yes, I remember our favorite time to go to Pasar Malam last time is to go and get the pirated CDs.
Exactly, right? Oh man.
Right.
And it was even openly done. Like, right now I think there's been a big government, I think like some years ago, there's a big government initiative on removing all this peddlers,
Yeah.
CD peddlers,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
But previously it was like out in the open. You could just go to any night Pasar Malam and find one.
I am so guilty.
Yeah, yeah. So that's when I
Yeah,
started
we all
noticing
are.
it. And then I
Yeah,
became
that.
really hard on myself, right? I'm like, oh my God,
Mm.
are you being honest with your, with where you spend your money, with this, with that? And I was like, oh my God, like I'll be really, really hard on myself. And then I try to, see if I can make a donation to the foundation where I stole from.
But I guess most people sometimes we don't realize what we are doing, but once we realize what we are doing, the most important thing is to stop.
Yeah,
To
yeah,
stop and not repeat it again. Yeah. So these are the small little things that we look back in our life. We actually you know we are doing. There are many things that we are doing that is not wholesome. Yeah.
yeah,
And yeah, as long as we look back and we evaluate it and we know that it is not, and we just change and move forward. That's the most
yeah,
important thing. You know, um, each time when I do reflection like this, I realize that I've been doing reflection since I was young. You know, and that day I was having this conversation with my son, a pillow talk with him. And then I was sharing with him that at one point in my life when I was younger, I was actually working in Singapore. Okay.
hmm,
So at that time when I was working in Singapore, I have to wake up very early. All right. And then I have to take a bath, all right, and to the ferry terminal. And from there, I have to wait for the ferry and then to take the ferry over to Sentosa Island. where I
Yeah.
work. Yeah, I was in the hospitality line. Yeah. So my bad is I would say that I'm not a morning person since then,
Okay.
even till now. Okay. I'm
Okay.
not a morning person. So each time I will wake up just in time, rushing through. Yeah. Then
Yeah.
I will be cursing, swearing, the bus for not coming on time. But the bus is on time, is me. I'm the one that is late, okay. But the bus, I'll be cursing at the bus, then I'll be cursing people walking in front of me that is slow, then I'll be cursing the ferry for coming late, for people, going into the ferry, they were slow and all that. So I was cursing from the minute I wake up till the end, where I change into my uniform, and then I go and punch my card, and the card will be red because it's about 5 minutes
You're
late,
late.
maybe 10 minutes
Yeah.
late. Yeah. And few times I did that, And then one day I just stood at the punching machine, and I look at it. I said, Liza, is this how you want it to be every day? That you wake up cursing everybody on the road, cursing everything, all right, and then come back and get a red card. Then after a few red cards, you have to go and meet your supervisor, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So is that what I want? Is that what I want to face every day? So that minute I told myself, I said, no, that is not what I want. Right? I do not want to stress myself unnecessarily to get to work. So from there onwards, I always keep my time checked. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is the same thing with us in life. Yeah. Many things that we might not do it right, but the moment that you ask yourself, is this what I want?
Yeah.
Okay. Then you get your answer and you make that change and move forward. That's the most important thing.
And I
Yeah.
was listening to your story, right, Lisa?
Mhm.
Something you said really, actually, when we're talking about always coming late, if you notice, I think even in your experience, if you've noticed, you're very consistent, right? You would always be between that 5 to 10 minutes late every day, right?
Right.
You're actually very consistent. All you need is a small change in thinking, and then you'll be 5 to 10 minutes early every day.
Earlier,
Because
correct.
actually nothing is really changing in your life, right? You're
Right.
actually very consistent. You just have to do exactly the same thing you're doing, just move it 10 minutes forward. That's all you have to do, right?
Yeah, just to concentrate on doing the right thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you
you're not
just have to move
actually,
it. Yeah.
you're not changing your life drastically. A lot of people don't realize this. A lot of people who are late for the bus, who are late for work, if you notice, every day you go to work, they're always the same 10 minutes late. It's not like one day you're 10 minutes, the next day you're 2 hours late. It's always the same 10 minutes. A small shift in thinking, and you move your entire schedule up by 10 minutes, you're never late anymore, right?
Exactly.
And this is what coming to the topic, this is really the true wealth, right? When you're able to inner reflect, when you're able to recognize that actually you already have all the good qualities, you just need a small shift in your thinking, and then this whole like abundance channel opens up for you in so many different parts of your life.
Correct.
One thing is we're just talking about work right now, but in the same metaphor, in the same example, you can apply this to spirituality, you can apply this to health, you can apply this to learning, to knowledge. Everybody says like, oh, I'm doing this, or I'm too busy, or this and that. But actually your life is pretty much quite routine. It's just not the way you want it to be. So just a small shift in thinking, and suddenly you have everything you want. You just shift everything by 10 minutes, you got everything you want.
Correct. That is so much true. You see, when I shifted that, I was enjoying my journey. I was able to, enjoy the breeze in my that is the morning breeze, because I have to wake up very early in the morning. That is 5 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. To catch the 6 a.m. ferry. Yeah. So I was able to enjoy the breeze, the cold breeze in the morning, the fresh air, and I was able to sit at the dock, where the ferry terminal is, the dock, and enjoy the scenery. So this is things that we might miss when we get too concentrated on the stress itself. Yeah.
And a whole world of difference, right?
Yeah,
like
correct.
Going to work happy, and instead of seeing the supervisor with red marks, you see the supervisor because you're employee of the month.
Smiling, right? Yeah, correct.
Yeah, because you're employee of the month, right? Like just that 10 minutes, huge difference,
So yeah, that is very true. So most of the thing that we encounter, the stress that we encounter in our life, actually, as I was sharing with my son, is actually we are responsible for it. It is our decision. It is our our actions that determine what we experience, right?
Exactly.
So if I did ask him, because now it's MCO, right? So it has its plus and minuses. The minuses is a lot of kids or even adults, they go on computer game a lot. Yeah. And then they tend to do that too excessively and forget to do the rest of the things, which are the main responsibility, like their college work or, the things that they need to do. So when concentrating...
sounds familiar.
Yeah, Sundar. So things when you get, it is nothing wrong to play game. It is not wrong at all. It's something that you like, something that you can relax onto it. To chill out. Yeah. The thing here is to actually do as in, just now as we shared, in moderation, right? You have your responsibility. You log your time. Okay, this is how many hours that I want to spend in doing my project, okay, or my assignment. And then this is how much time that I want to spend in playing game. So actually you have the two to balance and you wouldn't get stressed. So the stress comes in when you are using your time too much in computer game, and then the deadline is coming near and you have not completed that, and then you start, getting really stressful about it, and then your face gets changed and you become very grumpy, and then you be scolding everybody, So this is our own action, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So this is where, if you are able to balance that, then all this will be gone.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's also, so it's true what you said. It's about time management, and it's about being giving enough time, being moderate in all your aspects of your life. I think though, like with video games now, what people don't realize is that it's a form of addiction, just the same way as previously, if you wanted to avoid your responsibilities, people would run down to the pub to meet their friends, right? Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just instead of the pub, it's like they go online to meet their friends. And you're actually avoiding doing the work for whatever reason, right? And, the games is just a way for you to pass the time without feeling guilty. But once the game stops, you go, oh crap. And then you're super stressed because now you also feel guilty that you didn't do your job. And then you also feel like, okay, there's also that surmounting pressure that keeps building every day because you didn't do your job.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
So like you said, moderation is the key to these things. And just that small shift in thinking, like you start to enjoy everything now,
Yeah, that's why, people are going through quite a tough time right now, during the MCO, during the lockdown, and things actually, if we are to be able to practice all this, the time that taken, you can actually maximize and value it with your family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can use the time actually um, to have the bonding, to spend the time with your family. You can, with all this balance, you have work, but the lovely thing is you work at home,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
you get to do your work, and then you get to spend time with your family
Yeah.
instead of driving up for 1 hour, back 1 hour,
Yeah.
getting stuck in traffic and all that. So there's always a beauty to everything that is happening if we choose to look at how we can maximize the time that we have, right? Instead of those people will be cursing and swearing and trying to get cursing the government, saying this and that, trying to scold. There's a lot of scolding, okay, a lot of complaint, a lot of criticism and all that. But if that time is brought in and you just make that shift, right, then everything in your life, no matter whether outside you have turmoil, if things are not doing very well outside, but internally you are able to move forward. You are able to actually spend the time very, how you say it, more appropriately with value. Yeah. So that is where within us, if we are able to make that shift, whatever turmoil that is outside, it will not shake you, because you will know what to do when times is bad. You just have to sail by it. You just have to go with it, instead of trying to fight it. Because we can't outside whatever happened outside, we can't. It's not in our control. We can't control what is happening outside. No matter how much we are cursing or scolding, right? We are actually not taking the time to look inside and see what we can, how we can make it better, how we can, spend and pass time during this MCO in a better way, in a positive way, right? So just have to treasure the times that we have. So the values actually is all not that hard. If we know how to balance things, we know how to do our inner reflection, and just have to make that shift, like you said, the shift inside us, and then things it should go smooth.
So what you say is really right. I think a lot of times people cannot focus on the matter at hand, or having that clarity of thought and trying to move forward, is because of a lot of internal turmoil, right? So a lot of stress, a lot of clouding, and right now, like during the MCO, there's a lot of fear, a lot of panic. A lot of people also waiting for stuff that they don't know, like waiting for vaccines and things like that. They don't know when's their turn. They don't know when things are going to get back. So all these things, they kind of form like a little cloud in your thinking, in your energy body. And one of the really amazing things about pranic healing is Master Chua introduced the meditation on twin hearts. So one of the best ways to like move through this is to clean your aura, and the meditation on twin hearts does exactly that, right? So by finding it's just like a half an hour thing, where I think even a lot of experienced meditators, they find trouble with this, where you go inside and you find this peace, this little center of sanctuary, that no matter what happens in the outside world, there's always going to be some peace on the inside. You find that and you hang on to that for as long as you can. And you notice that as you do this more and more frequent, that you're able to hang on to that feeling or that state of bliss for, longer and longer and longer. And eventually, no matter what happens around you, you're still really calm. So when we're talking about, being moderate, balancing your time and giving appropriate importance to different tasks, if you have that clarity and that inner calmness, that inner peace, it's so easy to do everything else, right? It's so easy to do. And this meditation is very, very simple as well. It doesn't require you to do any physical crazy activities, anything like that. You don't have to like stand on one leg or anything. You just sit. Yeah, you just sit down in your chair and you just meditate. It just takes half an hour. So
Right.
I think everybody should try this.
Yeah, I think I really vouch very strongly on Twin Heart, because when I started, Twin Heart helped me, and automatically, the healing takes place by itself. There are many things that I was going through, and when I did Twin Heart at that time, I realized that the healing actually automatically was taking place in every level in my life. It started from the top, then then it goes deeper and deeper and deeper, and I find myself is pretty calm. So like today, when there was a questionnaire, on what affected us during MCO, so I was doing the questionnaire, and I was like, no, like whatever that is causing any stress, it's not causing any stress in my system.
Yeah, you almost, so these questions were asking you if you're stressed or if you're having
if I was
difficulties.
stressed because of this, because of that,
and you're like, no, everything's good in my
there's
life.
no,
everything's good.
Yeah,
Good.
if you have any fear for this, if you have, you're worried about this, you are worried about that, So for me, it's like, no. So I was looking at it.
That's an amazing testimony right there. That's an amazing testimony.
Then I have to ask myself, I ask myself, am I normal? Because I don't feel any of this.
Yeah.
So that was really hilarious.
Thank you for that. I think that's a really great way to end today's topic.
Yeah. Okay. So we are going to end this now, Sundar.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for joining us. We see you next week.
So thanks everyone for joining us in Zoom, and we will see you next week. Good night and take care and be safe. Night. Bye. Bye-bye.